What up, though? My Afro. I just wanted to talk about the Shanquella Robinson case, and I'm not going to go over all of what we know, but I just want to speculate, and I wanted to hear you guys' feedback on it because this case has blown up um, far beyond what the perpetrators thought it would. I think they thought that we're going to go to Mexico and commit this atrocity, and it's not going to have any bearing on, our life in America. We're just going to go. Listen, even assault. Like they did that freely. You know what I mean? They were like, we're going to go over here and fight and jump this girl. And I think that, of course, the rest of it might have been accidental. But now it's looking like it wasn't accidental. Now it's looking like they purposely went over there to terminate her one way or another. And it's looking that way because they tried to hide it. So if it was an accident, they would have said, it was an accident. And they tried to blame it on alcohol poisoning instead of blaming it on, assault, which it was. And said, no, when they could have easily said, got to an altercation, disagreement, and boom, this happened. And we didn't, But nonetheless, when she needed help, you wouldn't let the ambulance help her. So you knew she was in big trouble, and you just let her expire. So now it's looking like premeditated to me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the criminal justice system, but this is looking like 100% a setup, and it looks like premeditated. Now there's some information that came out about the whole Shanquella case where they're saying that Shanquella owed them money, and she said she was going to pay them back the money that she got from her PPP loans. So Shanquella reportedly got $20,000 from her PPP loan. If you didn't know, Shanquella had her own business, and she did hair, and she has something else going on, but mostly she specialized in doing hair for, the little sprites, and which is very cool because sprites are kind of hard to deal with, at a certain age. And mothers, especially, are very, 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 very picky on who's doing their sprites' hair. So when you want your little girl to look a certain way and your girl won't sit still for you, you call up Shanquella, and Shanquella, comes over, and, the little girl's comfortable and she sits there. She's quiet, she's amiable, cooperative, and all that other good stuff. And Shanquella just does a dope job on her hair. And you're just like, man, I don't have those skills. And so you pay her, 80 to $100, every, whatever, 2 weeks to get your little girl to look straight. And the truth is, it's worth the money. I mean, especially if your little one's a referable fashion plate and you guys are keeping up with everybody else, you want your sprite to, be able to pop out of bed, get it together. Boom, you're off to whatever grade school she's in. And she's confident and looking good. And so there's a whole system that is there. And it's all based on, the sprite having being happy with the look, and then the mother saying, this is what I want to keep paying for. And to me, this is how Shanquella made her money. which is pretty dope because if you have a trade and then you have a niche within that trade, people will come to you just because you have this niche, you have that magic touch, and sometimes it's something that can't be learned. You can just do it, and I think that's who Shanquella was. She just had the magic touch when it came to younger, sprites, what I call them, kids, and she was very good at what she could do, but also they were very cooperative when it came to her getting her art done. And this is why people kept coming back to Shanquella to have their child's hair done. And that's a very, very remarkable thing. You can upscale that. And she was very, very successful at just that one thing. And she was successful to a point where it was a business. So if according to the PPP loans, you have to have tax ID. You know what I'm saying. You can't just I have a business, I'm gonna apply for a PPP loan. It just doesn't work like that. You have to have a legit business, or it all comes back on you. So Shanquella had a legitimate business that grew from her innate talent on working with children's hair, which is very, very necessary in the Black culture. It's very necessary for your kid not to go to school or be out on the playground with a nappy head. It is crucial because they will get teased. So parents who have the money will pay for this and then intro Shanquella, go see her, pay her $80. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that, people aren't aware that's there until you have a sprite and you need your 3 or 4-year-old's hair done. You'll pay that money. So she, got this business going. She had her family behind her. You can see those people look like decent people, the mother and the father. And the rest of the relatives, they look like just good people. We all got our issues, but they're behind it. They're on top of it. They're like, something happened. We want to know what it is. It's not like Shanquella was a lost soul out here by herself doing whatever. She has a whole team behind her that was looking out for her welfare. And the guy who filmed it was at one point part of that team. They trusted him. He ate with them. He was constantly in the mother's company. They said this guy, Shaquille or whatever his name is, went on trips with them. So these are not poor people, downtrodden. These are, people with some financial substance who are living a good life. And their daughter had a dope trade and they were just, out there living. And then all of a sudden this happens. And the whole thing seems to be over money. At first, it was rumored that Shanquella had some guy backdoored and he lost his life. But there was no evidence to that. It was just the rumor mill. But now, it's coming out that the whole thing was over money. And here's the thing. She was so successful that the people who went on the trip with her, I think, were jealous of her success. We don't know what these people did for a living. We do know that she paid for the whole trip. She paid for the nice room. Well, I don't know where it was in, Mexico, but she paid for the real nice rooms that they had. They had 2 double rooms. She paid for the trip. She paid for the nice room. And we know after she lost her life, they took $17,000 away from her. So this girl was not broke. She had on nice clothes. She wasn't broke. The whole thing seems to be over jealousy of money. And it seems to me that there is a backstory, I'm probably going to say a year plus. And as a matter of fact, when did the PPP loans come out? See, what I'm saying is when you start investigating this from the assailant's side and you start looking at the communication between Shanquella and that man who taped everything, and then and then everybody else, you're going to find a stream of content that's going to all lead up to the situation. But before the situation happens, you're going to see this is the likely outcome. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying that this was planned, and it was probably planned 2 years ago. Whenever PPP came out, everybody got their loans. Was that 2020? I'm going to say that this was something that was planned as soon as she got that money. And probably earlier than that, because she couldn't have got that money if she wasn't successful. She couldn't even apply for that money if she didn't have some type of success. She couldn't legally apply for it. You had a lot of people apply for it who did not have a business. But she clearly had a business. She wasn't a fraudster. She wasn't being looked at for fraud. None of that even came up, fraud or anything. But they did show that she had a PPP loan. So even before you had that loan, you had to be successful. So she had a successful career before 2020. So when you look at where the success was, and her friend, the guy who filmed it, is supposed to be a friend, they've been, hanging out together for years. So I'm thinking if you go back probably 4 years, you're going to start picking up where this demise is finally being talked about, and who's going to do what. And it'll probably sound like, and here's the thing about it. The guy who filmed it is probably the ringleader, because he was around her the most. Remember, the family said this guy went on vacations with them. So the whole time he's on vacation and he's traveling with him, he wanted to be on her payroll. That's what the word is. So I want to be on your payroll, which means you're more successful than me. If I want you to employ me, meaning I don't have another job. So if I don't have a job and I'm running around with you, guess who's paying for the whole thing? Her and her family. But she said, I love him, meaning he's a friend. I love him as a friend. And she was hanging on to that friendship. So because she was so blind and just, I need a friend to travel with, and why not have a male? Because she didn't, and she was making good money, she was just like, come on, let's go. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. This guy's been in her life for a minute. Why not? Why would I distrust this man? And here's another thing. Here's another thing. If you have money, this has happened to anybody. You talk to Mike Tyson, you talk to a lot of successful people. They surround themselves with people who leech off of them. And they do that until they either lose their money or they're just tired of that person. You talk to Fat Joe, he did the same thing. He got rid of a bunch of friends in one fell swoop. And he found out that he had 6 real friends. He had a meeting with all his people, this Fat Joe, and he said, you guys, I can't spend money on you anymore. And a bunch of guys fell out, and there were 6 guys, and they said, we don't care if you lost all your money. We're still rocking with you. And those people are his friends today. So you have people who have money And they don't mind that you don't have money. And this is their mistake. Because if he's doing all this traveling and constantly around her and she loves him, this means that this guy doesn't have any money. But he's a staple in her life. She's connected to him by the heart. I need somebody to go do stuff with. I have the money. I'll cover you. Don't worry about it. But when you do this, and then that guy has friends, he tells his friends. And that friend tells a friend. Next thing you know, you're paying for all of these friends to be your friend, and you're not really friends with them. And this invites people to say, well, how's she making this money? How much money does she got? None of us really have money like this. She has a good heart. She's not a fighter. We can take her money. Let's take her somewhere on one of these trips and let's start some trouble. How are we going to do it? When's the next trip? When's the next time you guys are going on a trip? Well, she was talking about going to Mexico. Okay, well, let's all make a plan to go to Mexico and have her pay for it. This didn't just happen in one day, people. This was something that was years in the planning. And it's going to be evident that this was premeditated murder. And it could have been premeditated robbery. It could have stayed at premeditated assault. And it didn't even have to go. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about it, though. She paid for everything. You picked a fight with her, and when you picked a fight with her, you had a one-on-one of somebody who is passive. This is a passive individual. She doesn't fight. She's not interested in fighting. She deals with children. See, look how this goes. She's passive, and her makeup, her genetic makeup is exhuming with passive energy, and this is how she made her money. She's known in a neighborhood to do children's hair. You can't have an aggressive energy with children and expect them to sit still while you're yanking on their hair. You have to have a God-given passive energy about you. Soft, gentle, but stern enough so the child gets the point. Plus, you have other mothers who will rip your head off if you say something to the child wrong, or if their child cries, or so many other things. But you are the go-to person in the neighborhood because of your passive energy. This is why she said no when they were fighting her. She's not a fighter. Her gift is being passive. Her gift is being gentle and being loving. She would have made a great mother. She didn't have an angry bone in her body. She wasn't interested in fisticuffs. It's not her thing. If she was, she wouldn't have been able to do what she did with the children. She wouldn't have. And because of this, you have the total flip other side to people who don't have a lot of money, to people who are leeching off of her. That energy is 100% aggressive. You have to have a certain frame of mind, aggressive, conniving, stealing, murdering. You have to have that type of mind, and it's all aggressive. It's evil. It's haughty. It's arrogant. It's angry. You have that type of energy, and she ran headlong into it. Headlong into it. And here's another thing. It's a good chance that she might have known that eventually she was going to have to fight with one of these people. But because she's a loving person, She might have just been like, nah, it's not going to happen. I'm just going to ignore it. Or I'm going to give them a chance. Listen, they might have fought her before. Or they might have said something to her to the left before, but she might have just been like, I'm just going to forgive them. It happens. And we know this. We know people who go through this in relationships. They forgive their spouses for, putting their hands on them or doing stuff to them because they want to be loved. You don't want your husband to leave you. Your husband talks to you crazy. But you're like, yeah, he talks to me crazy, but he loves me. You know he loves you, but he talks. Or your wife, she does the same thing. She talks crazy, but I love her. You want to be loved. You don't want that love to leave you. And this is a very dangerous element. When people see this, they will manipulate that love. I'm just talking, but I'm not thinking this is something new. I think that this time it went overboard. And once they saw what they did, once they already were gonna assault her, but once they saw, she was in a bad way, they were opportunists because don't forget they wanted to rob her. They wanted to take her money, and what's really crazy is they probably could have just asked for it, but they wanted to hurt her. They wanted to physically bring harm to her, or if it was just a girl thing, you wouldn't have had two girls jumped on her and then broke her neck. It would have been one girl would have beat her up and would have left her, laying. Don't forget, she was fighting naked. The other girl had clothes on. And when the one girl beat her up, she was already finished. She didn't fight back. She was taking blows to the head because, that's how you fight. When you want to incapacitate somebody, you strike them in the face. So she was already getting struck in the face. She got dragged down to the ground. And once she hit the ground, she didn't come back up. Then the other girl jumps in it and it grabs her and squeezes her and bang, snaps her neck. The thing about it, she was alive for a while. Then they called the ambulance or whatever, and when the ambulance showed up, they didn't want the ambulance to take her and then go and try to, they were like, no, we'll take care of her. So they stopped her from getting help, and that is going to be crucial when all of these six are caught. One of them has said that she no longer lives in North Carolina. She went to Connecticut. But see, now the situation has gotten to. Now the situation it's gotten bad because now you have two countries that are looking for you. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Mexico and America make money off of each other. They do. Mexico and their resorts, that's one of their main, a lot of countries are like this. A lot of second, third world countries are like this. A lot of them make their money off of tourism. So let's just say that this happened in Jamaica. The Jamaicans would try to do the same thing. We know a lot of bad stuff happens in Jamaica, but if it happened where their tourist site is, they would try their best to save face. They would first say, this didn't happen, and it's not as bad as it looks. And if it came out that it is as bad as it looks, you know what they're going to do? They're going to turn on the people who they were trying to cover. And that's exactly what happened in Mexico. First, the police say this, and then the doctor says, hey, it's not as bad as it looks. It's alcohol poison, just like the kids said it, the adults said it was. And then boom, we go with alcohol poison until an autopsy comes in and finds out that her whole neck was severed. Now the doctor who was trying to cover everything up, he's exposed. You know why he's exposed? Because he told a lie, which is a medical malpractice. He told a bold-faced lie. But the reason why he told the bold-faced lie is because the people at the resort are connected to the country, connected to the police, and saying, we don't want the negative press because it stops people from coming to Mexico and vacationing. If they come here, they want to have a good time. They want to make it home. If they come here and they don't make it home, then what's going to happen? We're going to lose millions of dollars. Don't forget, there were 3 other lives lost during the same time. 3 other Black people lost because of poisoning, carbon dioxide, in the hotel. They went to sleep. They never woke up. So now you have bad press. Don't go to Mexico. Don't go to these areas. Don't go to... They're losing money, and that's not what they wanted to do. And because they're losing money, they have to save face. So they have to come after you. Other than that, this all would have been washed up under the bridge. Another dead Black woman, who cared? But now millions of dollars is involved in it. Now there's a whole system that's involved in it, and now they have to come after you. And they have federal police too. So all this running to Connecticut and all these places, see, these 6 people, they're all in hiding. But they're going to be tracked down soon. Because don't forget, these people don't have a lot of money. They're not going to get on a plane and go into Cuba or something. They can't do that. They're not leaving the country. They're going to be recognized at every airport. They're not going anywhere. So they're just skipping from house to house. And here's the thing about it. Once they are declared fugitives by the federal government, because right now they're looking to arrest one person for femicide. They're saying you killed her because she's a girl. But once that all gets blown over, because, listen, when they get that girl's going to spill the beans on the rest of them. And I'm telling you, you're going to go all the way back from about 5 years from now, and you're going to see how all this came to fruition. I'm telling you, this is how it's going to happen. Because she's going to spill the beans. Because she's not going to be able to see her family. If you haven't figured it out right now, when you go to other countries and you end up in their legal system, it is a terrible, terrible thing. You're not well taken care of. You're in it bad. And you're in a foreign land where nobody knows you. And these people, to get anything done with these people, you have to pay for it, and it's very expensive. So if you're already somebody who doesn't have any money, and or you're not connected with money, just to get something to eat, you're going to have somebody pay for that. It isn't like our jail system where, you get your 3 hots in a cot. No, people have to give money for you to eat. That's how it works. And then the guards are going to take whatever they want to take. The policing system over there is a whole different animal. A whole different animal. And if you're a female, it's even worse for you. Because you're not fighting. You're not fighting anyone. You're not, all this, we're equal to men. You're going to find out very quickly that you are no contest. Your male prison guards are going to do whatever they want to you. Whatever, whenever, however, and there's not one damn thing you can do about it because you're in jail for a federal crime. You have no idea what you're up against. None. And this is a federal crime. And the more you run, the worse it is. They're going to look at you and they're going to, for one, you're running. So there's not like you're going to go, they're going to arrest you, and then they're going to let you go until your trial date. That's not, listen, this is a federal crime. Okay, let's take federal crimes here in America. This is how it works. If you commit a federal crime here in America, there is no such thing as a speedy trial. So what happens? What happens is, over here, if you commit a crime and the feds have something to do with it, they can lock you up for years without you going to trial. 2, 3 years, not going to trial. It may be time served, but you still haven't gone to trial. They can hold you. If it's through the state, you get a speedy trial. They can also hold you without bail. You understand what I'm saying? So over there, pretty much the same thing. When they get a hold of these people, they're going to hold them and they're not going to let them go. They're not going to get out, come back over here, see their people, and then deal with it. No, they're going to go over there. They're going to stay over there. Let's look at what happened to Brittany Griner. She got in trouble for an illegal substance that she tried to bring into the country. And people are like, it's a non-violent crime. She shouldn't have got 9 years. Once again, you don't understand laws of other countries. When she got sentenced, when she got indicted, she never saw the light of day again. She didn't get indicted, make bail, come to America, kick it with her wife and all that. You're exactly correct. She didn't do that like they do here. And then they have to go track her down again. When she got caught, she was in a jumpsuit, and she has been in that same jumpsuit. They have no idea the laws of other countries, because over here, it's just totally different. Over here, you commit a crime, you have a bail bond system. Not in other countries. That's what these people are looking at. Once they get caught, they will be there until their sentence is finished. Not only that, they will be working. They'll be doing something. It's not lay down all day. No. And listen here, it's not an option. You will be doing something. I don't know what labor that they have, but you will be doing something. Her father had to pay them to do an autopsy, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. Automatically do autopsy. That's what I'm saying. It's a whole payola system in Mexico. Everything over there is different. The police don't investigate unless you pay. And this is through a lot of these countries like that. You go to Brazil, same thing. Cartagena, say go to these. Hey, good luck. You go to these countries, if you don't pay the cops, they're not investigating what's going on with you. So what do you think is going to happen when you get behind bars? And here's the thing, you're going to, okay, over here they have what? 1, 2, 8, 6, and 30-man tanks. 30-man tanks, 30 people all in one tank. They have bunk beds. Sometimes you sleep on the floor. You get a cot. You get a cup. You get a toothbrush. And they bring your food to you 3 times a day. Over there, completely different. You're all thrown into a room. You sleep where you can. Good luck getting a cot and a sheet. Good luck getting your clothes clean. Good luck getting a bar of soap. Good luck getting stuff for your feminine needs. Good luck, because if somebody's not paying the guards, then you're not getting some of these things. It isn't an automatic. You're not living off of the state. You're not living off of the country. That's not how it works. They trap you there so now they can get money from you. That's what it is. Now you are an asset. You're not a liability. You don't go there to those prisons and lay around and get fat. No, you're an asset to them. That's what you are. That's all you are. Do you think Brittany Griner thinks that she's hot potatoes right now? And I'm sure America's over there get treated much, much worse because people hate Americans. You think Brittany Griner thinks she's hot stuff because she's American? No, it has hit her like a ton of bricks. I'm a celebrity and I'm behind bars for 9 years. And these Ruskies don't give a damn. They don't care. Look at the one kid who went over to North Korea and pulled the sign off the wall. He came back in a body bag. You think Kim Jong-il cared? He don't give a damn. Not a damn. His kid, listen, they sent that kid to manual labor. They sent him to a labor camp for pulling down propaganda. The kid thought it was funny. I'm an American. I can come to your country and do what I want. He found out very quickly that he can't. There's no cavalry coming for you. He pulled that sign down, thought it was a joke. That's because they do stupid like that stuff here, and people get away with it. Their parents, he's just, he's mentally, no, they don't care over there. They arrested that kid. They sentenced him, bam, just like that. There's no bail bond system, no nothing. They sent him to manual labor. And then they beat the hell out of him, put him in a coma. That kid died. And then they shipped his body back without an apology. You do not mess around in other countries. And these 6 people really thought it was a good idea to trap this girl in Mexico and beat her on camera. In Mexico. Mexico, where they hang people, where you can drive down the street and see hanging bodies. Mexico is where you did this. I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded by the stupidity. I'm dumbfounded by the sheer American ignorance and arrogance. I can't comprehend the stupidity of these people. And how far do they listen? Here's the thing. You better hope America finds you. Because if them Mexican authorities really want to find you, they might find you in a box already in different pieces. The Mexico ain't playing with nobody. You better live under a rock. Because you did not do your research. You really didn't. You should have just asked her for the 17 grand. She'd have probably gave it to you. That's who she was. She was a sweet girl. She'd have probably gave you the money. And the worst thing is she would have cut you off. That's the worst situation. But you beat her up and you stole the money After she died, after you let her body expire in front of you, you denied her help. Let's get an understanding here. Let's look at Amber Geiger. Amber Geiger, the one who killed both of John. Do you know why Amber Geiger got sentenced to 10 years? It's because she didn't issue CPR. That's part of the reason why she got a sentence like that. She did not help him once he was shot. She's a cop. Your job is to help people. You claimed it was the wrong apartment and you were startled. You shoot somebody. What do you see cops do all the time after they shoot somebody? They go over and they try to administer some type of help to that person. Now, it's fake because they usually already killed the person, but they try to administer help because they're saving their ass. It's a protocol. They're like, I tried to help this guy, but, after I shot him 30 times. But the act of trying to help you bodes well in court. Amber Geiger didn't do that. And when they saw that she didn't issue CPR, she was outside talking to her lover, some guy who's married, on the phone, pacing back and forth. They were like, you didn't give a damn. You shot this guy on purpose. And just think about that. That's how the court looked at it. They go, you didn't care. Just because you're a cop and you're female, we're going to give you manslaughter. But it should have been murder one. It should have been premeditated murder, which is murder one. Because she knew what floor she was on. She killed him on purpose. But because she's a female and she's a cop, they gave her manslaughter. Now, let's take the situation where these stupid people, you go over there, you fight with this girl, two people fight her, she's already incapacitated, you stop the ambulance from giving her help. The girl dies. That's involuntary manslaughter. You probably didn't mean to kill her, but she dies. It's involuntary manslaughter until you send the ambulance away. You know she's in trouble. You know she's dying. Now you did it on purpose. You didn't issue her CPR. She's laying there in front of you. No, nothing. She's dying. Now it goes from man two to you did this on purpose. You planned this. And now when they go back and they look at all these messages and then see how the dude was showing up at the mother's house for 4 days straight, acting like he still loved and loved and loved until he got the autopsy report, and then he hears nothing from them. They're going, well, wait a minute. None of you issued an apology. None of you said why you were fighting her. There's other videos that are going to come out on the fight. It's just like, well, once the court puts two and two together, they're going to go, you guys planned this. This is premeditated murder, which is the worst you can get. This was a plan that was in fruition for years. For years, you guys planned this. Not to mention the assault charges that both of you are going to get. The two women, they're going to get assault charges. They're going to get murder charges. But the dude is going to get involuntary manslaughter. And everybody who's standing around looking at her, knowing she was dying, you're going to get involved. It's bad. It's bad. It's a bad deal. It's bad. And the court is going to hammer it. It's going to... It's bad. And all I can say is I hope they pin their ass to the wall. I hope they do 20 years each. And I hope they have to do labor while they're there. And I'm going to look that up in a minute. I'm going to look up, and then I'm going to talk about it while I'm looking it up. Put user and time hide users from channel. I'm gonna look this up real quick. I'm just want to look this up. All right, I typed in, do they feed you in Mexican jails? Women, men, and kids carry large shopping bags and buckets full of food in which you might find pork, rinds, bread, rolls, soda. Well, this is not Tupperware and a bunch of plates and culture. Families have up until family have I don't know, 5 in the afternoon to share the meal with their image. Okay, that's how it is. Okay, so just like I said, yeah. So how to eat in Mexican prisons. So they said, so what happens is women, men, and kids carry large shopping bags of buckets full of food in which you might find, pork rinds, bread, rolls, sodas, Tupperware, and a bunch of disposable plates, cups, and cutleries. Families have until 5 in the afternoon to share a meal with their inmates. See, I'm not just talking, I'm not blowing smoke. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. These people are in trouble. They're in trouble because the family brings you the food. If the family doesn't bring you the food, you do not eat. These people are in big, big, big trouble. And so, what do you do if your family doesn't bring you food? Well, you got to hustle. You got to find yourself a hustle. You got to find a trade. You got to be, Mr. Whoop Ass. Hey, you're going to be washing somebody's underwear. Something is going to happen. You got to be that chick or that dude. You got to be that person with the connect, sexual favors, something. This is how it is. This is how it is in our prisons. But you eat in our prisons. Your families don't have to bring you food. Over there, the family has to bring you food. And you can just look it up. I just Googled it. But I already knew what it's like. And Vice has a whole thing on how to eat in Mexican prisons. Look, in a Mexican prison, you don't get any food. The inmates steal it and sell it. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Look. I'll look up females in Mexican jails. See what you. What? What is this? Prison treatment of female offenders in Mexican jails from female officer. Okay. It says, although of varying degrees of correctional reform for male offenders have occurred in Mexican beneficial changes for female offenders have not kept pace. Not a single person exclusively for women has been built. Wait a minute. Only women's access exists. I'm reading that wrong. Annex. Only women's annex exists. Greater attention has always been given to the selection and training of prison personnel for male prison. Yeah, your women are catching hell in there. Although women have to use installation designed for male inmates, both for their study periods and for other programs, organizations, and assistance release inmates exist for women as well as men. However, the possibility for assistance for women, particularly regarding employment, are fewer. So they're saying that the accommodations in Mexico for females, yeah, they're saying the accommodation for Mexico and females to have them reformed and for women's facilities, they don't have that. That's not what you get in Mexico. When you go to jail in Mexico, you have the same facilities as a male has. The same thing. And they concentrate more on helping males than they do on helping females. You are screwed. You're screwed. You're screwed so bad. You're screwed. I'm going to look at something like Mexico. What to say? Women's prisons in Mexico, abuse runs rampant. Women are, why are more women, let me read this right. Why are more women, they don't even have it right. Why are more women are having children in jail or in Mexican prisons? That's because the guards are knocking them off. More women are incarcerated in Mexico. So yeah. And here's the thing. Once you go to jail in Mexico, you belong to the state. Excuse me. You belong to the country. So they look at, like I said, you're not just sitting around doing nothing. You're an asset to Mexico. So they're going to use you for something. So you have more and more women who are having children. And the thing about it is the child's not going nowhere. That's your child. You're having that child here in the jail. Well, you and your child are in jail. Where do you think these children come from? I was saying they didn't do their homework when they did this. It's like, do you not know what you walked into? And the federal police are looking for these people. That's who's looking for them. So if somebody from Mexico, a Mexican citizen, comes over here and commits a crime such as that, murder, whatever. Okay, let me say this. When I was in Germany, when I was a soldier, there was a young lady who was in my barracks, in my company. She went out and killed a citizen. She cut him from here to here. So when she killed the citizen, he was from France, but he was he was a German citizen. So he was legally a German citizen, but he was from France. So when the police finally figured out who it was, she basically told. But when the police figured out who it was, the MPs got involved. So the United States got involved, and then Germany got involved. Now here's the situation. She's in Germany as an American citizen that killed a German citizen that's from France. So what they did was, now, okay, so what they had to figure out was who has jurisdiction over this person. Who's going to set things right? Because remember, we're guests in another country. We're guests there. We don't own nothing. We're guests in Germany. All right? We can't go over there and kill their citizens and cut them from ear to ear. You can't do it. You're going to pay for it. So the Germans said, give her to us. We're going to put her in German jail. We're going to sentence her. Boom, bam, boom. Well, the United States said, absolutely not. Because the United States owns you. Now, let's just say that she was visiting and she had nothing to do with the military. And she committed a crime in Germany. Same crime. The Germans would take her, lock her up in a German prison, and that would be the end of it. But the simple fact that she wasn't in jail immediately, because I saw her after the crime happened, and I asked her, did she do it? She didn't say anything. But she was completely stripped of her rank, and she was quiet. And we know that she did it. So what they did was they worked out a deal to where she was not going to go to jail in Germany, but she was being court-martialed by the U.S. military. I said all that to say, when you go to countries that have extradition laws, the country that the crime is committed in is the one that pretty much has jurisdiction. They're going to say what's going to happen to you. They're the ones that's going to issue the punishment. So these people who committed this against I forgot her name, I'm sorry, Shanquella, they have to go back to Mexico because the crime wasn't committed here. There's nowhere else they can go and serve their sentence. The United States isn't going to go, well, we will handle the situation over here. None of these people are in the military. They were visitors. They willingly went there and committed this crime on purpose. And even if it was just a fight, and here's the thing, even if it was just a fight, if Shanquella would have came back and pressed charges against them, she would have had to do it through the Mexican authorities. If they would have looked at the videotape and the Mexican authorities would have been like, you're absolutely right, they assaulted you, so on and so forth, they could have still contacted the U.S. and said, these people committed this type of crime in our country. We want them back over here. And guess what would have happened? The federal police would have been knocking on their doors and said, you 6 are all going back to Mexico to account for what you did to this woman. They were in trouble the first hit that they threw. They were in trouble. See, over here, you can fight, beat people up. It's like happens all the time. People go to Walmart, fight. You're out of jail the same day. Sometimes you don't even go to jail. People are just running around beating people up. It's like the purge. In another country, it's a whole different animal. Especially if you got a little bit of money in your pocket. And Shanquella had money. So she could have easily pressed charges against them even if she didn't die. But now that you killed her and they had to pay $6,000 to get her body over here, this thing is going to get blown out of proportion. Because now, listen, you got to understand, The majority of the people that go and visit these countries and go on these vacations and all that, Shanquella's, her tax bracket is right there where, you know, she made enough money to afford everybody. You better believe she was probably going there more than once, like going back and going back. So she represents a whole group of people that are traveling from all of these countries to come in. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones help keeping this stable. So don't just think that this is news here in America. No, no, no. This is going around to any country. And everyone who goes onto these resorts, they're all seeing this. This is going to hurt them a lot. And in order for it not to hurt them, they're going to have to step up their game. They're going to have to come through and they're going to have to punish these people to the hilt. Because if they brush this off, especially now that it's caught this much traction, if they brush this off, like this is just a, poor girl, nobody loves her, which is nowhere near the truth. If they brush off this middle class woman, working woman, stable, educated, good family, if they blow her off like nothing happened, they're going to lose millions of dollars. They're going to lose millions of dollars more. They're already going to lose millions of dollars. They blow this woman off like she's nothing, they're going to lose millions of dollars. Because they're going to think anything can happen in Mexico and you're not going to take care of us. I'm not coming to Mexico. You guys don't take care of us. But if they get these 6, they need to get them soon. They should have been got them. But if they get a hold of these 6, drag their asses back to Mexico, hit them with a speedy trial, and sentence them all in one fell swoop. And it's a harsh sentence. 15, 20, 25, 30, and 30. Boom. And they do the 15, 20, 25, 30, and whatever it is. We don't hear from these people. That's it. If Mexico does this, then people will feel safe again. And they're going to go, okay, well, I can go to Mexico. But if they don't, it's a wrap. They do want them extradited. Yeah, they want them extradited. Yeah, they want them extradited. You better believe the federal police are looking for them. But see, the thing is, okay, let's go back and look at what happened to. Let's look at Natalie Holloway. Does anybody know about Natalie Holloway? If you already know, I'm not even going to talk about it. But if you don't know what happened to Natalie Holloway, I'll enlighten you. You guys already know or you don't know? Just look her up. Exactly. So Natalie Holloway went on vacation. And I forgot what country it was. Wasn't Jamaica. Forgot what country it was. She went on vacation. And Aruba, there it is. And, Natalie had money. Family has money. You know what I'm saying? Nice looking girl, blonde head, blue eyes, good looking woman, young, beautiful. Well, she runs afoul with Joran Vandersloot, who is another white guy, blonde head, prominent white dude, and he knocks her off. Well, they called out everybody they could to try to find out what happened to Natalie Holloway. It was all over the news. It wasn't like it was just on, YouTube or Black Twitter or whatever. No, it was a national thing to find out what happened to Natalie Holloway. It was a big, big, big deal. It turned out Joran Vandersloot killed her. And it turns out that he killed another girl, but she was, of some other descent, and nobody even knows what her name is. He liked killing women. But Natalie Holloway's name was she was never found. They just declared her dead. But he killed her, and he killed another woman too. But it was such big news. Well, let's find this white woman. What happened to this white woman? Well, we know what happened to Shanquella. But it's on the news, but they're not moving as fast as they did, It's just not the same thing. But nonetheless, here's the thing. A lot of people, but here's the thing. There's a lot of people who are waking up to the system. And they're like, you know what? If you keep treating us like third-class citizens, second-class citizens, you keep doing it, we're just going to ignore you. We're not going to come to your resort. We're not going to come to your resort where it costs us $5,000 to come over there and stay for a week. Like, you make good money off of us. The airline makes good money off of us. Our money's green. Our money's not black. If you don't go and extradite these clowns and let them have it, then you're going to lose the black dollar. And if you haven't been paying attention, the black dollar is pretty powerful. You're going to lose that. If you don't understand the black dollar, you're not paying attention to Kanye West. Let's just put it to you like that. Because Kanye West got pretty much, he was like, Adidas was like, we're going to go ahead and separate ourselves from you. And we're going to take your Yeezys and make them all Adidas. Well, Adidas, you're not the consumer of Yeezys. You are the maker. You're not even the manufacturer. You're the middleman. You're not the one who's manufacturing these. They know who you are. You're not the consumer. You're just the brand. And you're going to erase all the names off of the Yeezys and put Adidas in it. No. Because what you don't understand is Yeezys is a name that people want on their feet. If they just wanted regular Adidas, that's what they would buy. But let me ask you something, Adidas. What costs more? Yeezys or Adidas? Which one? There's a good chance that Yeezys cost more. They're a premium shoe. People want to walk around with a premium shoe. They want other people to see that they have on a premium shoe. That's the whole idea. So if you take a premium shoe and you put a middle-class name on it, that shoe has just gone down in value. And in return, Adidas lost $285 million. Just like that. Just like that. Just because they didn't want to pay Kanye anymore. $285 million. Bang! Big mistake. It was cheaper to keep them. But you wanted to follow the trend of some old nonsense. All right, cool. Balenciaga, you too? Oh, you don't want the black dollar? Fine. Kanye West went and took all the stuff he made for Balenciaga. He was like, fine, open up a warehouse. Boom, give me a warehouse. I'm gonna take all my stuff, all the inventory I have for Balenciaga that was gonna sell for hundreds of dollars. I'm selling this all for $20 each. Boom. Who loses? Balenciaga, you lose because you wasn't paying Kanye. You lose, Balenciaga. I have all your expensive stuff, boom, in the warehouse. People are going to come in here and take it. 20 bucks, $5, $10 out the door. Who loses? Yeah, keep treating black people like they're not valuable. And Mexico is going to find this out. Oh, we don't need, we don't need to. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because when you pull up the statistics on how many people go to Mexico in vacation, and you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. It isn't giving me this. See if it can. Okay, black U.S. leisure travelers spent over $109.4 billion in 2019. And you mean to tell me that that's not going to hurt your economy? That's not going to hurt your economy? That's going to put a dent in your economy if black people decide we are no longer going to Mexico. And like I said, this isn't what happened to Shanquella isn't affecting just black people. Although if it was white people, it'd be, more expedient. There are more nationalities than just black and white people. What happened if it's, another nationality? It's not white. What happened if they're African? What happens if they're Jamaicans? What happens? We see that you don't want to do anything. You're just, you lied. Your doctors lied. You tried to cover up. We see what you're doing. Oh, our money's not? Okay. Just in the U.S., 109, this is leisurely traveling. 109 billion. That's just in the U.S. Now, and imagine other black countries and the money that they're making going to Cabo and White Plains or White Sands, New Mexico. And, it's going to hurt them. They're going to nail these people to the wall. And it's going to be a lot worse than what they would do here in America. Brittany Griner would have never gotten 9 years. 9 years. You want to know something? This is gonna sting a little bit. Brittany Griner is in a female prison, right? What are the chances her guards are male? Brittany Griner is married to a woman. Some countries do not recognize LGBTQ. They treat you according to your natural born orientation, sexual orientation. What are the chances that Brittany Griner has an encounter with a male guard? Physically encounter. What are the chances? She's not an old woman. She's tall and she's attractive. What are the chances in 9 years that Brittany Griner gets nailed by a male guard? If it's not already happening. See, these LGBTQ people don't think about this when they go to other, they think over here they can do stuff, and then and even over here, some states, like the Asian dude that got locked up, who says he's a woman, but he's actually a he. The judge sentenced him and put him in a male prison. And when he came for his arraignment through the whatever the screen, he said, "Do I have to stay in here?" And she said, "Yeah." He looks like a woman who's locked up with men. And what about the dude who was selling butt injections to these women and one of them died? He's a black guy. He has his whole derriere looking like a woman's derriere. They put him in a male prison. You people weren't thinking it through. Y'all don't think stuff through. Y'all don't think it through. And this Shanquella, this whole thing has opened a door to the realities of a few things. One, what's life going to be like for these people that are going to get caught? Two, how fast are the Mexican authorities going to move on this? Three, the relationship between Mexico and America. Four, the families of the people who are going to get caught and sentenced, and how their life is going to be turned upside down, because if they want to keep these people in good health, keep them alive, keep them safe, they're going to have to take a lot of trips over there and give these people food. And like I said, when I read how life is over there, they listen. Those people, the people who are in prison, they wait for their family to show up. They all show up at once. Like, it's a scheduled visit all the way up until a certain time. And then once 5 o'clock hits, everybody out. Get out. This is what these people are going to have to deal with. If your family doesn't come over there and constantly feed you, you're in trouble. Anyways, that's my take. I'm sure there's going to be new developments in the next 5 minutes. I'll go live again and talk about this maybe a week from now. I don't want to keep regurgitating the simple facts. I just want to say, it's a very when you're traveling outside of the country. And especially for the females, you're in big trouble, because, you're probably going to have a child while you're over there. And that's just the truth. You're probably going to get sentenced, and you're probably going to get pregnant, and you're going to have a baby while you're in jail. This is just the facts. This is what happens to female prisoners in other countries. And that's how you survive. Your asset is what's between your legs. You're not looked at in any other fashion except, can I go ahead and knock you off? And somebody comes on here and says, you're being perverted, blah, blah. No, go look up the information I'm telling you. But I already knew this. I'm not being perverted. I'm telling you that in other countries, let me give you an example. Let me give you another example. Nigeria. I knew a young lady who was Nigerian, and she said that if you talk about another tribe, what happened is they will come and they will take your wife. And then they will all these men will do, and then they will let her go. And she'll come back to you. Except the men will not take the wife back after all these men have done this. And they make it known that this is what we're going to do to your wife since you talked about us. And they keep her for days. Do this thing to her, let her go, and everybody out there knows that this happened to this woman. You know what they do? They shun her. The wife says you can no longer live in this house, or the husband says you can no longer live in this house. Nothing. You can't come by and see the kids. Absolutely nothing. You're finished here. You know what happens to the woman? She becomes a prostitute because it's the only way she can live. You have to understand, in a lot of these countries, you are one thing or the other. And if you're a female, that is your most valuable asset. They don't care how smart you are. They don't care what college you went to. They don't care who your family is. They don't care about nothing. You are a female. That's it. That's what you are. And that is the reality that these women are going to face. And the men, they're going to face the reality that they're going to be working their ass off for the rest of their lives. Well, as long as that they're in there. And there's no guarantee that they'll be getting out. It's your boy Tone 202. God loves you, so do I.